The rising cost of living is hitting even Trump's most loyal base, his MAGA voters, right where it hurts, their wallets. For years, they've rallied behind his economic policies, proudly sporting their red hats and chanting America first. But now, as egg prices soar and grocery bills stretch their budgets to the breaking point, many are starting to wonder if their unwavering support is costing them more than they bargained for. At town halls and diner counters across rural America, frustration is simmering. In states like Ohio, Iowa, and Pennsylvania, where agriculture and working-class families make up a significant part of Trump's voter base, people are feeling the squeeze. Farmers are struggling with rising feed costs. Truckers are paying more for fuel, and middle-class families are wondering why their grocery budgets aren't stretching as far as they used to. "I voted for Trump because he said he'd bring prices down and put America first," says Tom Henderson, a third-generation farmer from Kentucky. "But now I can't even afford to make my kids scrambled eggs for breakfast without thinking twice. If this is what winning looks like, I'd hate to see losing." Even die-hard Trump supporters are grappling with a reality that doesn't match the campaign promises.
Hey TikTok, it's Mark Kelly. Now you might not know me, and if you do, it might be as a NASA astronaut or a combat pilot, or Arizona's senator, or more likely as Gabby Giffords' husband. Now I'm joining TikTok to make sure you know exactly who I am and what I stand for, and it's also so I can hear from you too. Now I'll be sharing what I'm working on, what my life's like, and what I'm up to from one day to the next. And a big part of that is what I'm doing to hold Donald Trump and Elon Musk accountable. From VA care for veterans to the Department of Education, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are blowing up parts of our government, and it's the parts that everyday Americans rely on. You know, I served 25 years in the United States Navy and flew 39 combat missions in Operation Desert Storm. I flew 4 missions as a NASA astronaut, twice as commander of the space shuttle. And I've been in the United States Senate now for 4 years. I did all of this because I believe in service to our country. But Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they only know how to serve themselves. So I hope you'll join me in doing everything you can to hold them accountable, to defend our democracy, and to stand up for working class Americans. It's going to take all of us working together. So let's get it done.
Blaming Democrats, parroting Trump's claim that liberal policies are to blame for inflation. Others, however, are quietly reconsidering their stance, questioning whether trade wars and tariffs are really the economic boon they once believed. The ripple effect is spreading beyond just eggs. The cost of chicken is rising as poultry farms struggle with the same supply shortages. Restaurants, particularly small diners and breakfast spots, longtime MAGA-friendly establishments, are being forced to raise prices, cut menu items, or even close down. One diner in Missouri recently put up a sign that read, "Due to Bidenflation and Trumponomics, eggs are off the menu until further notice." The irony isn't lost on political analysts. MAGA voters, once the biggest cheerleaders for Trump's hardline trade policies, are now the ones feeling their impact the most. The problem with isolationist policies is that they work both ways, says political economist Dr. Lisa Barrett. When you cut yourself off from global trade, you don't just stop imports, you stop options. And when a crisis like this happens, you pay the price. For now, Trump is doubling down, dismissing concerns about food inflation as fake news and urging Americans to tough it out. But as more of his base begins to question whether loyalty is worth $8 for a dozen eggs, the cracks are beginning to show in his once ironclad support.
Okay, so you really can't make this stuff up. After threatening all these world leaders, Donald Trump is now begging them to send the United States eggs to try to bail him out as prices continue to skyrocket. Check out this article in Reuters. How many eggs can you send? U.S. asks countries to help lower soaring prices. The United States has reached out to Denmark and other European nations asking if they could export eggs as Americans face surging egg prices, the Nordic Countries Egg Association said on Friday. The request from the U.S. Department of Agriculture coincides with a raft of new U.S. tariffs on countries, including in Europe, and the threat of more. Donald Trump has also threatened economic sanctions unless Denmark hands over control of Greenland to the United States. So on the one hand, Donald Trump is threatening Denmark that he's going to annex Greenland. On the other hand, he is begging them to send him eggs. So pathetic.
So Donald Trump is now begging Denmark, the country he has repeatedly threatened to invade, if they can help him by sparing any extra eggs they have in order to combat the egg shortage here in America. And it doesn't seem like his request is going to end very well for him. So according to the Danish Egg Association, they have received several letters from Donald Trump's Department of Agriculture requesting that they export any surplus of eggs they have to the States in order to offset the skyrocketing prices here in America. Now, keep in mind, this request comes after Donald Trump has threatened to sanction Denmark unless they cede control of Greenland to America. And it comes after Trump, during his State of the Union address, said that America would eventually annex Greenland, despite Greenland being an autonomous territory of Denmark. And now, with his hat in hand and tail between his legs, Donald Trump is asking them for eggs.
So, President Trump has just found himself in a textbook example of FAFO diplomacy, the kind where you fuck. He's navigating an egg crisis that's cracking open the complexities of global trade and domestic policy. In an unexpected twist, the Trump administration reached out to Denmark, a nation previously on the receiving end of Trump's tariff threats and territorial ambitions, to alleviate the egg shortage. The U.S. Department of Agriculture formally inquired about Denmark's capacity to export eggs to the American market, despite the chilly diplomatic climate. Denmark's response was less than optimistic. The Danish Egg Association indicated that Europe, too, is grappling with egg shortages due to increased consumption and their own battles with bird flu. This leaves the U.S. in a precarious position, with few immediate solutions to the egg crisis. Undeterred, the administration also sought assistance from other European countries, including the Netherlands, Sweden, and Finland, to alleviate the shortage. Meanwhile, domestic critics are pointing out that the administration's trade policies, including tariffs on key imports, are exacerbating inflation and contributing to the crisis. This scenario is a textbook example of FAFO diplomacy, a colloquial acronym for F around and find out. The administration's aggressive trade policies, designed to bolster domestic production, have inadvertently left the nation vulnerable in times of crisis. The egg shortage underscores the complexities of global trade and the unintended consequences of isolationist policies. In a bid to address the crisis, the administration is also exploring deregulating the egg industry and investing in biosecurity measures to combat future outbreaks. However, these long-term solutions offer little immediate relief to consumers facing empty shelves and inflated prices. The egg debacle serves as a poignant reminder that in our interconnected world, no nation is truly self-sufficient. Trade policies that alienate allies can come home to roost in unexpected ways, leaving leaders with egg on their faces and citizens bearing the brunt of policy missteps.
Ribeye steak bone was $50.38. How can people live these days? Give me a break. $14.31.
In Walmart, but I looked at the beef. It is $28 for 4.5 pounds.
Daylight savings, it's got to go. It's got to go. Imagine you're dying, you're on your deathbed, you only have a little while to live, and they turn the clocks forward. You die faster. Sorry, kids, Granny's dead. She lost an hour. It's a disgrace. We've got to